stand up early, it looks like you prepared. All right, so I'm going to talk about something that hopefully no one has ever heard of, but I'm sure some of you have. Drum roll, please. Dale's Cone of Experience. You might want to move, you guys can't see this. And Dale's Cone of Experience was put together by an educator. I can't remember his first name. His last name was Dale, of course. And he studied the psychology of people and how they remembered things. And the Dale's Cone of Experience talks about what we remember 2 weeks after something is said. So after 2 weeks, we tend to remember reading, 10% of what we read. So why am I sharing this? It's really for our weekly presentations. When we stand up and we come into the group, if we have a handout, that's great, but we tend to remember 10% of that a few weeks later. And think of that with your own marketing as well. But we remember 20% of what we hear, and that's great with B&I because we do have handouts and we do speak every week, but people remember 20% of what they hear. And then 30% of what we see. So your presence makes a lot, okay? So if you're really energetic and you really believe in what you're sharing and you're kind of using some hand gestures like this, and people will remember that 30% of what they're seeing. And of course, if you bring a prop, that's great as well. And 50% of what they see and hear, that is exactly what one-to-one is. If you're a member of B&I, you kind of get that. It's watching a movie, it's looking at an exhibit, watching a demonstration, seeing it done. So think about that in your weekly presentations. Can you do a demonstration? Can you show something? That will always help people to remember. And a couple more here, but these are different. This is how we, the members, participate. 70% of what we say. So if you stand and give a presentation, if you can get us to say what you're talking about, maybe repeating something, we can remember 70% of that. And lastly, 90%. After 2 weeks, we tend to remember 90% of what we say and do. Doing a dramatic presentation, simulating the real experience, and doing the real thing. So I don't know how you do that in a 1 minute, but probably in a 10-minute presentation, when you speak at a 10-minute presentation, if you can have us participate in some way, we will remember 90% of that. And this is by Confucius, who was in one of the first Chinese B&I groups. I see and I forget. I hear and I remember. I do and I understand. If you need that cone of experience, you can talk to me. I'll email it to you. Thank you.